The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
So I want to get into this episode as this week I have had about 4 different conversations with people either getting divorced, on their way to divorce, or wanting to get divorced and be done. And as I started to think about this, I'm like, why am I getting so many of these calls, so many of these conversations with people? And this morning at my workout, I was training with my workout partner, and I was telling him, man, you know, there's these people I've talked to this week that they made getting divorced sound so easy and so simple. In fact, some of them, or at least one of them, had already kind of moved on, and yet they just announced a couple weeks ago that they were getting divorced. But this person was already talking about having, a girlfriend or having a boyfriend already. And it was kind of like, man, these people had been married for, I don't know, I think it was like 15 or 20 years. And to know that they just came out and started letting people know that they were getting divorced. And not only that, but that, this person had already had another relationship going on. And as I'm talking about this, it's like, why is resistance in the gym talked about? And talked about specifically by men. If you look up any social media and you follow people that work out, you always hear them talk about the resistance, how they crush their workout, how they leaned into this resistance and they worked out so hard. And then you hear people talk about in their business that there's massive resistance. There's this hustle and grind kind of mentality and how proud they are to wear that. And then you have, people talking about mindset, people talking about fears, anxieties, worry, doubt, scarcity. All these things are resistance and how people have broken through that. And as we were talking about this thing that came up for me, I said, man, what's crazy is people talk all the time about the resistance in the gym. They talk about the resistance in their work, the resistance in their environment, the resistance in their mindset. But the minute the resistance comes up in their marriage, they want to run the other way. The minute that resistance comes up in marriage, they want to run the other way. They want to go hide. They want to go find somebody else. They want to start a new relationship, and they want to end the one that they're currently in. And so as we get into this today, I want to challenge you to start looking at, are you running from the resistance? Are you running from the resistance in your relationships? Are you running from the arguments? Are you running from the disagreements? Are you running from each other? Are you running from making decisions financially? Are you running from making decisions as a parent? Because here's the thing, if you're going to brag and tell people you're crushing your workouts, how hard you work and all these other things, but the minute that same resistance comes in your marriage, you shrink, you run the other way. And I want to challenge you to think about this for a second. You see, in the gym, what offers you the most growth physically and outside of the gym, what offers you the most growth mentally whether it be in your fitness, whether it be in your business, whether it be in your mindset, is resistance. Resistance lets you know you're on the path to growth. Resistance tells us, hey, here's something that came up and you may want to pay attention to it. But in our marriage, what we do is we tend to run the other way from this same resistance. That's right. We run from this same exact resistance in our marriage. And what often comes up is this same resistance to the same problems over and over. Yet, we can go into the gym and we can do shit like CrossFit. We can do all these workouts and we can work on resistance there, but we can't apply that to what we're actually doing in a relationship. And so as we began to talk about this, I'm like, man, isn't it crazy that people will work out hard, people will kill themselves at work, people will do whatever it takes to get rid of, their fear, their anxiety, their depression, all these things. But when it comes to the resistance in their marriage, they won't do anything. And I believe this is one of the fundamental problems that I meet, that I face when it comes to communicating with couples inside of even my own marriage, is we often think resistance is a bad thing in marriage. We often think arguments, disagreements, disconnection are bad problems in marriage. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't have resistance in your marriage, then how do you actually grow inside of that place also? Because as we know, if you're doing, say if you're doing 8 reps in the gym, if you do that over and over, for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, all of a sudden that becomes less and less resistance. So you either have to increase your weight, you're going to have to increase your reps, you're going to have to change something. And guess what? No, people have no problem doing that. We may even change the type of exercise we're doing, but the type of exercise doesn't matter as much as the intensity, the weight, and the rep range. Those things matter even more. Then we go into business. If I continue something, if let's say I start out doing something with marketing and I have a lot of resistance to, maybe doing videos, communicating my message, doing all these things. And as I do them more and more, they become less resistance. And what ends up happening is I also have less growth inside of that place. And then it shifts to another area. And so as I get better at communicating my message, I get better at speaking, I get better, stronger at lifting weights, I have to add or I have to increase resistance some other way. And so if it was marketing, then maybe the next place I would be introduced to resistance would be sales. And as I get introduced to that, my next thing is once I get that down and start selling more, now my resistance becomes fulfillment. And then in your mindset, the resistance starts out as maybe fear, doubt, I can't do this, to anxiety, to then that resistance becomes people telling you, who do you think you are, what qualifications you have, and then you start having these different types of resistance, but each one of those offers an opportunity to grow. Each one of those offers us an opportunity to go to this next place, this next level. But I want you to think about this one thing. Your relationship is no different. Your relationship is no different. Each level you grow to in your relationship is going to come up with a different level of resistance, but so many people give up even at just the first basic level of resistance. So many people give up after so many years of resistance. And I can't think back to 31 years ago when I first started working out. The resistance I faced then and the resistance I face now. And I think about, man, what if I would have quit after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What would I look like today? And I think back to when I started my first business with my wife, how terrified I was. It was like, man, was this even going to work out? And this is 13, 14 years ago. I think back to what if I would have stopped the minute that resistance hit, the minute that somebody told me I couldn't do it, the minute that somebody told me I wasn't qualified, I think back to what if I would have stopped then, the minute the resistance was hard. I wouldn't be where I was today. And so as you're thinking about this inside of your marriage, imagine this. Kids offer a resistance. One of our kids is born, and there's resistance in that. We get married. We start a business. There's resistance in that, and we continue to grow. And then all of a sudden we have another kid. Now we have 2 kids, a business. And there was resistance along the way, but I can't imagine what my life would be like if I decided to opt out on the resistance. And then we have another child, and there's 3 kids, a business, 24 employees, and it offered a new level of resistance, and I can't imagine if I would have stopped there. You see, resistance is an opportunity to grow. Resistance tells us we're on the right path, and when you run from it, all you're doing is going to recycle resistance. And when you recycle resistance, you continue to come back to the same fundamental problems every time. And I believe this is what happens in marriage is we keep recycling the resistance. And so we recycle it by running away from it. You can't recycle resistance and go to the next level. You're going to have to lean into it. You're going to have to work through it. But I want to challenge you today, if you're married, if you're in a relationship, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you running from the resistance inside of your marriage, your relationships? Or could you start running into the resistance, knowing that on the other side of that argument, the other side of that disagreement, the other side of that discomfort is going to offer you an opportunity to grow in your relationship and in your marriage to the next level. And not only that, it's going to be stronger. It's going to be stronger than it ever was, no different than you experiencing a new level of resistance inside of your workout. You're now stronger than you were before. Same thing in your marriage. The resistance that you're feeling today is offering you a new level of growth and a new level of resistance. And you're going to be that much stronger as a couple. You're going to be that much stronger in your faith, and you're going to be that much stronger in your marriage because guess what? You've felt every part of growth in your marriage. You felt every part of growth in your relationship, and guess what? Maybe you felt like quitting. Maybe you felt like giving up. Maybe you felt like you couldn't do it anymore. Maybe you felt like you wanted to run the other way, but something told you to keep working. Something told you to keep pushing forward. Something told you to keep working through the resistance. And I'm here to tell you this, that you're stronger than you ever have been because you decided to work through the resistance. And that is the message I want to share with you today is if you have a habit of running from resistance in your relationship, it's going to show up in the next relationship, and it's going to show up in the next relationship after that, and it's going to show up in the next relationship after that. So just because you're running from it doesn't mean that it's not going to be recycled and come up again. And as it comes up again, don't be surprised if it comes up in a new relationship, if it comes up in another place, and it comes up over and over, and it's like, why is this always happening to me? Well, it's always happening to me because you consistently are recycling this resistance in your life. And one of the ways that I think we can all work through this and practice using this is if you were in the gym, you faced a resistance, whether it was a weight, an exercise, or maybe just wanting to sleep in. You worked through that. You know that you're stronger on the other side. You know when you come up with a resistance in your business and you work through that, you know you're stronger on that other side. You come up with a resistance in mindset and you learn to work through that. Why is personal development more? Why is this industry completely booming right now? Because people know that there's resistance. They're hungry to learn how to work through the resistance. But are you as hungry to work through the resistance in your body, in your fitness, in your mindset, in your business, as you are in your relationship with your wife or your relationship with your spouse. It doesn't really matter, but what matters is that you learn to begin to work through this because you know that this offers you the most growth on the other side. There's no growth when you keep running into the same resistance over and over with the next relationship, the next relationship, the next relationship. And so I'm going to challenge you today. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and guess what? You're going to be faced with resistance the day after, the day after, the day after. And just because you show up that one time doesn't mean there's going to be more resistance down the road. So I want to challenge you to lean into this resistance because this is the one thing that is going to offer you the most growth inside of your life and inside of your relationships. I want to thank you guys for being on here today. And I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you, speak this message into you, because this was a powerful message that I received this morning and I wanted to share it with you. If you guys are looking to connect further with a group of like-minded people, join myself and so many others in the Habit-Based Lifestyle Secrets group on Facebook, where we will be dropping daily habits to help you live to your full potential. You want to be one of our next case studies and begin living this habit-based lifestyle, feel free to reach out to me, Jesse, at habitbasedlifestyle.com. Until next episode, have a great day.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse